So the second Grand Prix of the season is already upon us, and I'm going to give you a preview to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, otherwise known as Imola. Like I do with Bahrain, we'll go through a little bit about the track, the form guide, the timings of all the sessions, my predictions, and a few questions ahead of the Grand Prix. So without further ado, let's get into the preview of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Now, 3-week break straight off the bat, not ideal, but here we are. We've made it. So Imola is quite a low downforce circuit, I'd say. It's on the lower end of the spectrum. In terms of overtaking, I give it a 4 out of 10 because overtaking opportunities aren't that great. It's a high-speed, old-school track, and Pierre Gasly described it as a thrill when he got back in the car last year in 2020.
Stamp it down, and so the car did not complain at all. Over the blind crest into Piratella. Be careful not to run wide, no problem there. Acca Minerali just ease off the throttle on the way in. This is where the main part of the corner is, at the foot of the hill. Left-hand turn up there.
Now, it retains its place on the calendar after it returned in 2020 due to the pandemic. Such an iconic circuit. It's a great circuit too, I think, and it's great that it's back on the calendar. It's also located in an amazing part of the Italian countryside, so the setting cannot be beaten. Right, so let's have a look at the form. So in 2020, Lewis Hamilton won that Grand Prix, and then you have to go back to 2006 for the last race at Imola. Before that, a race which Michael Schumacher won. And then 2005, Fernando Alonso won. 2004, Michael Schumacher won, and 2003, Michael Schumacher won. And Michael Schumacher is the most successful driver at Imola with 7 wins, and Williams and Ferrari are the joint most successful constructor with 8 wins each. So only 3 drivers on the current F1 grid have raced at Imola: Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, and Kimi Räikkönen. They should all be feeling confident. I think Fernando will be very pleased to return to Imola with Alpine, the same team that he won in 2005 with. And Lewis Hamilton won there last year, so he'll be confident going into this year, no doubt. Obviously, that's only 3 drivers before last year, you know what I mean. So what are my 3 questions ahead of the Imola Grand Prix? Number 1, can a Ferrari or a McLaren get in the mix with the Red Bull and Mercedes fight? It's been talked about after Bahrain that Ferrari and McLaren are certainly best of the rest, and I think they can definitely mount a challenge on Red Bull and Mercedes at some point. So could Imola be the weekend where they get involved? Secondly, can Alpine and Aston Martin find some form after a wretched opening weekend in Bahrain? It'd be good to see these 2 teams have a trouble-free weekend so they can really display what kind of pace they have, because they were quite disappointing in the opening race. I think it'd be great to see, especially Aston Martin. I think they've got more pace than they showed in Bahrain, so it'd be good to see these 2 teams a little bit further up the grid. And finally, how hard will overtaking be? Now, I only gave Imola a 4 out of 10 in terms of overtaking, and there's a reason for that. It's only got 1 DRS zone, I think, and there aren't really too many braking zones in which to overtake. It's quite fast, it's quite flowing, so overtaking opportunities are limited. We saw that there last year as well, but it is doable, it's not impossible. So how hard will overtaking be? Remains to be seen. So my prediction for the Grand Prix. Well, I think Red Bull will have an advantage here. They said after Bahrain, well, Mercedes said after Bahrain, they're not confident going into Imola. I think the high-speed circuit could suit Red Bull because they've got that incredible Honda power unit now. So Red Bull could have an edge here, but obviously don't discount Mercedes because they've got Lewis Hamilton, of course. I think Ferrari will be strong again, back in Italy, so they've got strong motivation to do well. I think they will. I think they'll show some good pace. I think they'll be a bit more aggressive this time round because they were quite conservative in Bahrain, I thought. And obviously, with overtaking being a little bit difficult, it may be run on strategy, like it was in 2020 with Lewis Hamilton. He came from 3rd to win the race with an immense strategy, helped out by the virtual safety car, of course. But yeah, with overtaking limited, it could be won on strategy.
This must come early, Crofty, for Hamilton.
Hasn't it? Just as he comes in now, and you can see on your screen, time lost during a safety car, a virtual safety car, 17 seconds. Hamilton, all being well here, will stop, receive the hard compound tyre that goes on, will come back.
Prediction for the race? Well, I think Charles Leclerc will finish 3rd. I think Lewis Hamilton will finish 2nd. And I think Max Verstappen will win the race. Leclerc's always shown he can get a podium no matter how poor that Ferrari's doing. He's displayed that last year. And like I said, I think the Red Bull will have the edge this weekend, and they'll be a little bit more wary of any strategy tactics from Mercedes. I think Verstappen will have the edge this time round. So when is the Grand Prix? Well, 16th to the 18th of April is when it takes place. On Friday, practice 1 is at 10 AM GMT, English time. Practice 2 is at 2 in the afternoon. And then on Saturday, practice 3 is at 11 AM. Qualifying is at 2 in the afternoon. And then on Sunday, the race is at 2 in the afternoon. So that's when the races will be, that's when the sessions will be, all live and exclusive on Sky Sports F1. There we go, there's your preview for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, otherwise known as Imola, like I said. Now, despite giving it a poor overtaking score, it could be a good race still. It'd be interesting to see the Red Bull and Mercedes Delta. It could be another Verstappen and Hamilton showdown, which would be great to see. So yeah, I think there's going to be lots of strategy involved, and it should be a good race. It was last year, so I expect the same this year. So let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen this weekend, and I'll see you afterwards.